Bitcoin saw last night a major drop to the downside. And now everybody's wondering, is this already over? Will we see more downside here? And I will tell you right now, I believe there are signs that we are getting here a massive reversal in the short term. And I will show you exactly why I believe step by step this is going to be happening right now. If you want to know how you can position yourself in the best way, then let's go, guys. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in here again on this Monday. So we start off straight away with the DXY. The DXY saw already today quite a nice move here to the downside, but retraced most of it here back to 103 points approximately. But over the course of today, I still believe that we are going to see here more follow through to the downside coming from that resistance that we are currently just retesting. Why do I believe that? Because the pre-market is quite bullish right now and also bouncing, hence there should be continuation to the downside for the dollar because that is needed for a proper relief in risk on assets and also in the stock market. So, but I can tell you one thing that outperformed Bitcoin here insanely in that drop, and that was if you would have had an account on PIONEX. Again, if you want to trade on PIONEX, guys, sign up there, get $1,000 by completing simple tasks here. And now I'm going to show you what I mean. So here, Bitcoin in the grid bot is only down 5.8%. But if we go into the Bitcoin chart and we look how much Bitcoin retraced, since we are in that bot, and that's roughly from here, 21% more or less, 21% against 5.75%. So with the grid bot, we did here really well, guys. So, and I can only recommend to you, get an account on PIONEX with the link in the pinned comment below, get the $1,000 and go then again in the pinned comment section or in the description and copy the strategy for Bitcoin, guys. So because this is only 5%, guys, only 5% in a loss here. This will go up quickly back into profit, and it makes sense to start the bot right now while I'm a little bit underwater so you get the better entry. So take advantage of that, guys. When we are looking at Bitcoin on the weekly chart, so we are here at the 200 moving average. As long as Bitcoin can manage to hold on to this here, we should be fine and get a nice reversal next week here above $80,500 with continuation in the $90,000 region. If we manage to close below the 200 moving average, expect that we will come down here into the prior all-time highs for Bitcoin at around $69,000. So here you see all the time rejected, then we broke it, got a nice move here to $110,000. Now we're potentially coming back to retest this as support and then get a nice move back to the prior all-time high. So because from an indicator perspective, we are ready to go. We are now for weeks overextended here and oversold. So we are not far away from the bounce. Maybe another 8 to 10 days in my opinion, but then we should be there, and most likely when we are there, you missed the best entry. So you might need to take a risk here, down here already, but just have a proper stop loss and don't use too much leverage. I go into that here in a moment, how I would do that. So now when we go into the lower time frames, the 12-hourly chart, so here the next 12-hourly candle just started out. I told you guys yesterday, there is a chance that we are running here into that green box, and there would be a huge opportunity to long from there. If you would have had here some limit orders, you would be nice in profit right now. See here, we are also bottoming out on a stochastic. The RSI is turning around. So there are, because the candle just opened, but there are, from the current perspective, slightly signs for a push back here to the upside to around $80,000 in the short term. So $81,000 in my opinion for a short term move. So the big problem that I have with the overall midterm outlook here with the chart is that we're still below the EMA ribbon, which is bearish. We are below the VPVR here, that cluster, which is also bearish, and that will make us a lot of problems on the way back to the upside. On the MDX Algo Scalp gradients here on the 4-hourly chart, here we have indications that we might have here a reversal in progress For once, we have here the take profit point on green candles, and on the react indicator, we have 2 dot plots, which are usually a bullish reversal indication back to the upside. So here, again, I believe that we would come back up to retest this downward sloping trend line here. And when we get up there, this time we are going to break it, in my opinion, because we tested it now here so many times and every time failed, and at one point it is going to break. So if you're looking for a long position, I'm going to show you from where I would actually open that. So you want to make sure that we're getting above this here. Then you trade this all the way up to that trend line, and that kind of would be my stop loss. So here a 7% move against a 2% stop loss, absolutely fine, guys. You need to wait for your entry above $77,600. From there, you want to take that trade and trade this here in the short term into that resistance. And there you run, guys. You know, so either depends on you. But I would close my trade completely there. If you don't want to do that, close half of it. Raise your stop loss slightly above the entry, then you're risk-free and have already half the money, and then let the rest play out, as long as you are not trading with like 25 or 50x leverage. On this 4-hourly chart, the falling broadening wedge got also reclaimed from that prior 4-hourly candle, so we are back into it. Here also indications on stochastic and on the RSI itself that we are getting here continuation in that resistance block here, now resistance, prior support at around $83,000. That might be the point where we are going to struggle to go higher. We are most likely going to go a little bit sideways there and then get another leg to the upside once we are in that box. So if we lose here the trend line of that falling broadening wedge, then we will most likely go all the way down back here to at least, $75,000 in my opinion. Now on ZoomX, I opened a new Bitcoin long trade already. You can still trade this with me together. I'm only here 0.3% in a loss on the spot market, not really a lot. Remember guys, ZoomX is the best non-KYC exchange out there right now. So, and I told you that with the other trade that I had running, I had a stop loss just above my entry with a little bit of profit to make sure that if I get stopped out, that I still keep my capital. That happened, and now I open a new trade at a lower price to make sure that I will, again, not get liquidated. Once I'm here a little bit in profit, I'm gonna put my stop loss again around my entry price to make sure that I at least get my money back if the trade goes against me, and that's how we should properly trade. So if you want to trade on ZoomX, guys, then don't forget you also stand here still the chance to go to the Formula 1 in Miami or Monaco. Both amazing events. I was at both of them. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen it over the last couple of years. And even if you don't win here in the lucky draw, a Formula 1 ticket with flights and everything paid, you know, the whole trip is paid. Just want to mention that. You can win 1 Ethereum, you can win 1 Bitcoin, you can win $1,000, $500 just by spinning the wheel here. The only thing that you need to do is sign up with that link here in the pin comment below and in the description, and then spin the wheel, guys. That's all what you need to do. When we're going back to Bitcoin, on the liquidation levels, you can see that most of the long liquidity was completely taken out here to the downside, and on the short side is also not much more high leverage liquidity left. Also, most of the shorters have taken their money and ran, which is really, really smart in my opinion. So now here is a short-term level. Again, $83,000 makes a lot of sense. There is right now the highest concentration on the short side on the liquidation levels, and we still need to reclaim the 50 moving average, which is also around that number here currently. Also on a 2-weekly chart, you can see here at around $83,000 starts the liquidity to concentrate all the way up to $85,000. Hence why I said around that level I expect some sort of a small rejection or a stalling of the price before we start pushing into higher levels here once again. If you want to trade altcoins, guys, then Bybit is still the best place to do that. You get also a debit card. Do I have my wallet with me right now? No. But you get a debit card if you are eligible in your country, and $30,000 in worth of bonuses you can claim. Plus also exclusive events that you can get invited to. And Formula 1 is again one of them, but all around the world, not only Miami or Monaco, depending on where you're living, and then the closest one, but sometimes you can even pick where you want to go. There you're going to get invited. So also get your Bybit account, and yeah, I hope to see you then at the Formula 1. The Bitcoin dominance is breaking out here to the upside, which is not really surprising with Bitcoin going to the downside. But also here I expect over the next couple of days a big move to the downside. for the dominance, because at some point Bitcoin is going to stop to mess with us, and that's when the dominance will finally fall here to the, into lower levels. So the total free market cap, the only thing that I'm looking for in the total free market cap today is a close above $700 billion, preferably. If we are not getting that, then unfortunately, I think that we're gonna come here into that support, which is small support, to be honest. And we touched it almost to around $650 billion. So we will come down there, touch this, then go back up, break this downward sloping trend line. Then we will be all super, super happy again with our altcoin portfolios. Ethereum now on the 12-hourly chart looking like that we go a little bit lower. So there is a level that I'm looking at, and that is $1,300 roughly. So if we are not able to manage to get above $1,586 by today, so basically above the candle body from the prior 12-hourly candle, we might come all the way down to $1,300, then bounce, then go back to the upside. But anything between $1,300 and $1,600 is a present, guys. You know, so it is a huge present. So if you were looking for nice entries on Ethereum on spot, this is where you want to enter. And if you want to build a long position, use 2 to 3x, not more, guys. Even 3x might be a little bit risky, but 2 to 3x is what I would use, and then you just scale it and crank it up when we are getting above the point of control on the VPVR, so at around $1,890. That's where you want to crank it up to like 5, 6, 7 x leverage. So that is what I'm looking out for here. You see here the indicators, they're all bottoming out. So there is also here a short-term bounce coming to the upside. The big question is this a sustainable bounce, or again, something where we just get smashed, you know, something like this here, you know, we go sideways, we go up, everybody thinks, oh, now finally we go up, and then bam, down again. So that's why be a little bit careful right now when you are trading out there. The same goes for Solana. I told you guys yesterday, if we come down here into that buy cluster, buy as much as you can. We briefly touched it, bounce back up from that. Here the 4-hourly chart is looking bullish right now in terms of the indicators, because we have a buy signal on stochastic. MACD is turning around. Let me actually fix the MACD here a little bit. Also the RSI is slightly pointing it to the upside, not too much, because the current candle is looking a little bit bearish. Every time we get below $100, guys, you should buy a little bit, regardless if it's 99, 95, 87. Every time below $100 on Solana, buy a little bit Solana. You will be happy if you do, because this will be at some point so quick at $200-300, you're gonna miss it if you blink, you know. So especially once we break this downward sloping trend line here, that multi-month resistance, we're gonna see here a massive move really quickly into higher prices. So here, my trade setup, there's 2 ways how you can trade this. Either you trade this into that resistance, which will give you 20% against a 5% stop loss, which is absolutely fine. Or you go higher, but then also your stop loss needs to be lower. And you do something like this, 44% against a 12% stop loss. So these are the 2 trade setups that I have for you. One, this is long-term, the other one is more short-term. Up to you what you want to trade. But I'm pretty sure once we're breaking this downward sloping trend line here, Solana is going to pop, and many other coins out there too. That's it already for today's episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I hope to see you with better entries and a lot of altcoin setups from my side tomorrow.